Hi, welcome to the Outdoor Laboratory Podcast. I'm your host, Danny Capo, and today's episode, we're going to be talking about my first experience hiking below the rim of the Grand Canyon. So this was an amazing experience. I was able to do this with the Grand Canyon semester, an amazing program that I do recommend every student should attend. But we had an overnight Grand Canyon hiking trip planned, a backpacking trip that lasted around 4 days. And this was probably the hardest hike I've ever done, one of the hardest hikes. So the Grand Canyon is a destination site. So for an overnight backpacking trip, you do need to make sure that you get permits. Now, a permit is so important in protecting the land that we love, the land that we're exploring, the lands that we're hiking. And in a destination place like the Grand Canyon, there are so many people who want to get in there and hike. There are so many people who want to go and explore this awesome place. It's a wonder of the world, you know? And to keep down the destruction that foot traffic brings, the trash that people bring in that they don't bring out, all that stuff, just to minimize the impact that we have on these backcountry spaces, you need to pull a permit. And these permits basically control who's in, who's out, regulates how many people are in there each year. And it's very important in protecting our spaces, very important in making sure that our hikes stay in this pristine condition that at least I saw them in. It was immaculate. It was so beautiful. And so I do recommend, if you need to go on a hike that requires a permit, get your permit. Don't just walk in there. Make sure you check the hikes that you guys want to do. See that you don't need permits. There are so many hikes that don't need permits that you can hike probably the rest of your life and have great backpacking experiences. But if you do need one, get it. Don't skimp out. It's important. And it funds the protection. So get a permit. But this permit basically made our group split into two because you have a group limit that you can take. So we had to have two different groups. We were able to start out together, but later on in the hike we had to split up, which was kind of a bummer. But it was great because I was able to get closer with the people in my group at least and get more intimate since it was a smaller group. But going to this hike, I knew that it was going to be challenging. So the Grand Canyon, I looked it up. This trail that we had has around 4,000 to 5,000 feet of elevation change, and the bulk of that elevation change is in the first 2-3 miles when you're hiking down the canyon. Okay, so it is not the best for your quads, and also on a multi-day hike, like any other multi-day hike, you do have to make sure that your pack is not too heavy. But on this hike especially, you had to make sure that your pack was dialed in so that you weren't wasting extra energy, because these slopes to get up were very steep and very taxing on our bodies. But I did not follow this rule. I usually do have an issue. I'm still trying to dial in my gear and things like that, and I do have an issue overpacking. But for some reason, I felt like this backpacking trip was going to be extremely challenging. So I kind of overpacked. And also, being an outdoor leader, I do want to make sure that the people who are in my group are safe and that they're comfortable. Even if I'm not guiding, if I have an extra fleece, I'm going to throw it in my bag just in case someone's cold at night. I would hate to be cold. I hate being cold at night, so I know everyone else hates being cold at night. Just helping my people out. And so I've had my pack weigh as much as 28 pounds with food. That's very light. But for this hike, it was more in its upper 40s, lower 50-pound range. Okay, so I also have this habit of needing to fill every bit of space in my pack, and I decided to take my 70-liter pack, which is my biggest pack, and it was a lot of space to fill. So it was not the best hiking experience, at least for me, because of this heavy pack. But when we were in camp, I was the most comfortable out of everyone. Okay, I had my camp chair, I had my reading book, I had my extra Slim Jims, stuff like that. But I learned to regret this decision, okay? Because the extra Slim Jims, they weren't worth the torment that it took me to get up this mountain or down this mountain. And you know, I was huffing and puffing on the trail. Wasn't smart, just to say that. Wasn't smart of me to do, but it happened. And this is the story. So my pack was very, very heavy, and the descent down is super, super steep. So when you're hiking downward, I think it's downhill, stress on your legs, uphill, stress on your lungs. But the thing is, like, some people might say, oh, going downhill, that's easy. No problem. Doesn't hurt. Psych. Okay? I would much rather prefer to go uphill all day than downhill all day. I had a 50-pound pack on. Your quads are destroyed after about 30 minutes of this. You could, like, I thought I was going to blow my quads out. And something that I learned actually in Mexico, when I was hiking in Mexico, when you have a steep incline, the best way to go down is actually to make your own cutbacks, to zigzag. So you're not going steep all the way. It just takes a lot longer to get down, but your quads will thank you. So there's a pro tip for you. If you're gonna go hiking and you come across these steep downhills, just zigzag, okay? Pro tip. But hiking down, my quads were destroyed, okay? And it was about 3 or 4 miles of this. And the views, they were really good. Like, they were beautiful, amazing. You can just see the whole canyon. It was great. It was literally beautiful. And in the beginning parts of this hike, though, were these like wooden beams, not wooden beams, I would say like wooden stages, I guess, that you could walk towards. And you know, your body, mechanically, you fit. Physically, you fit. Mentally, though, you don't. Okay? Because on the side of this wooden thing, there is no railing. There is just canyon, cliff, rock, perhaps a tree, perhaps another rock. Okay? There is just nothing there other than air. Okay? So your brain is telling your body, dude, what are you doing? You need to go back where you came from. But I'm telling you, physically, your body's good. Your body's got it. So I had to power through this. I'm really scared of heights. Powered through it. And it was a beautiful hike. Once you get over that, beautiful hike. But when we got down off of this steep elevation, we finally hit this flat place where we decided that it was time to split up our groups. And I actually saw something that I wish I would have known before I went on the hike. So we were hiking down, and all of a sudden I see a caution radiation sign, like some Chernobyl stuff, okay? I did not enjoy looking at that sign because that meant that I was in danger. So apparently there's an old abandoned uranium mine on this hike. And honestly, I'm not gonna lie, I probably wouldn't have gone if I would have known that. But it made me question a lot of things. Like, why is there still an old mine out here? Why isn't it not picked up? Why are there still caution of radiation signs out here? Is this contaminating our water resources? Is the aquifer getting contaminated because of drilling? Am I safe to be hiking here? But I just hiked down 3-4 miles of steep trail. My quads were shot. There's no way that I'm going to be hiking up that in the near future, or at least in that day, you know? So I decided to just hope for the best. Maybe I get some superpowers. Maybe I can fly out of the canyon. But I had to suck it up. And it was honestly kind of crazy to see a mine in the middle of this pristine landscape. It was just out of nowhere. It was just stuck out like a sore thumb, just not pretty. And you know, it made me realize that we have destroyed a lot of these places because we need these resources, you know, air quotations. But it was ridiculous to see this kind of destroyed landscape, I think, at least in that one area. And it was kind of sad. But it was eye-opening. It was great to think about when I was hiking, something to give my brain some food for thought. But our group split up at this point, like we said, and we spent about 2 days at one campsite just because we wanted to enjoy the Grand Canyon and enjoy our place. And this place was honestly one of the beautiful sites I've ever been to. I think we were in a cottonwood patch. It was like a little oasis. There was a little river, a little stream going through. It was really, really beautiful. And it was really big too. So we were able to seclude ourselves during the day if we wanted to get away, able to come back in, eat some meals. It was really an awesome experience. And because I had all that stuff in my pack, I was comfortable, okay? But it was a great time to really connect to the canyon, really talk to the canyon, really spend time in the canyon. And something that I did learn from this experience is, from being in that campsite, was that through these difficult times, like the hike that we had was pretty difficult, there's gonna be these little oases, you know, these little places where you can just take a break, chill out, and, you know, find those places in life. That's what it made me remind of. Just food for thought. It's a lesson I learned from the trail. Something that you guys can go learn. Something that the trail might want to tell you if you guys go out there. But the best thing about these hikes, guys, is this thing called flow state. So I'm going to get more in depth into flow state. It's going to have its own episode. It's going to have its own really direction of where some of these episodes are going to go to on a podcast, because I really think that flow state is one of the most beneficial, I guess, not consequences, but products, basically beneficial products of hiking, of these outdoor experiences. So flow state, just to put it into layman's terms, is your body performing without the need of your mind. So it's basically you're able to physically exert yourself. Your body's in a place where it's working, but your mind, for some reason, can disconnect from what you're doing, and it gives you the opportunity to just explore your thoughts and really be intentional with your hike, with your activity. It lets you delve into the stressors of your mind, stuff that's really bothering you, and makes it super black and white, because you're in a pretty primal place. You're in a place where 2 feet to the side, you can fall off and die, you know? Like, your body is making decisions. And so your mind is making these decisions quickly too, instinctually. So you can actually come up with answers to some of your problems pretty simple, because you're not second guessing yourself. You're doing things. And, you know, that's what I love about hiking sometimes, is that once I disconnect, it's like a self-therapy, okay? You know, it's a super healthy self-therapy. There are so many unhealthy ways to therapize, I guess that's not a word, to give yourself therapy. But, you know, this hiking was amazing because of the flow states that I was in. And I was able to really delve into some things that I was struggling with at the time, really make things clear for me. And that's actually a benefit that I want you guys to get from hiking. That's why I want people to go out, because you can actually deal with some problems that you're having in your life just by going on a walk. It's that simple. So that's a great thing that happened during this hike. I loved it. And the hiking was just beautiful landscapes too. So not only was I able to explore my mind, but I also had a beautiful backdrop to do it on. And I really was able to answer questions that I had for myself and really delve into myself as a person, as an individual. And that was really beneficial. But the time came that the hike was no longer a flat stroll, okay? It came to the point where it was time to hike out. Now, from where we were, it was about a 2 to 3 mile hike to get to the base of the elevation gain. And when you get to the base of that where the elevation starts going up, you have about 3 miles left, 4 miles left. And so the 2 or 3 miles to get to that spot, for some reason, I guess my back was just sick and tired of carrying 50 pounds. We get to the base of this elevation and I'm a broken man, okay? My shoulders hurt, my traps hurt, my lower back hurts. And I know that I probably have another 5 hours to get out of here. And it's all gonna be uphill. And I couldn't do anything but smile and laugh, because I couldn't do anything about it, because the only way to get up and get out was forward. So basically this 4,000 to 5,000, the bulk of this 4,000 to 5,000 elevation gain is in this uphill part. And my biggest enemy at this point was this pack. So we started hiking up, and I'm telling you guys have to go. You guys have to go to this trail. It's the Grandview trail that mixes with the Horseshoe Mesa trail. You guys have to go see this trail, okay? The steepness of this trail was ridiculous. Above 45 degrees, okay? Yes, it was above 45 degrees. We were not going at a 45-degree angle up. We were probably going more at like a 60-degree angle up. I am not kidding you, okay? I just remember like my calves burning. And like my calves were like, all right, dude, like after around 30 minutes, they were like, all right, dude, I think we're good. You can stop and we can just get a helicopter. You can stop now. But they didn't know that I was about to work these calves like the 1900s at that Triangle Shirtwaist Factory. All my history buffs know what I'm talking about. Yeah, I was about to lock them in and just turn the heat on. You know, they were about to burn. My calves were about to burn. And I prepared myself with the flow state. I was like, you're gonna get through this. It's nothing but physicalities. And I had pushed my body before in high school when I was on the wrestling team and stuff like that. So I knew that I was physically gonna be fine. But after around 3 or 4 hours of this, your body just is like, all right, dude, I think you're done. Like you're done. And all I remember thinking like during those 3 or 4 hours was, I'm gonna have a badonkadonk by the time I get out of here, dude. My butt's gonna be so big. You're gonna take a picture of me, all you're gonna see is my butt. That's how big my butt's gonna be after this. And it better be big, because this isn't worth it if my butt's not big after this big uphill hike, you know? But the thing is, your body just says, all right, dude, you've had enough. And when I got to the last maybe 20 minutes of this hike is when those wooden beams come back into play. And I guess I wasn't really keeping an eye of what my body was telling me. Maybe I wasn't drinking enough of electrolytes or something like that. But I had gotten separated from the hikers in front of me in my group and the hikers behind me in my group. And not separated in the sense that like I didn't know where they were. They just couldn't see me and I couldn't see them. And so I knew that I was almost out because I saw these wooden beams, the wooden steps that have the cliff at the end of them. And so I decided to trek on, and as soon as my left leg touches this wooden stage or wooden beam place, it gives out. My whole quad and my whole calf just cramped, and I fell to my knee. And I have a 50-pound pack on. So to shift my weight to one knee would mean that 50 pounds is going that way off the cliff. And so as soon as I felt my knee give out, I sank down to my butt because I did not want to fall. Of course, did not want to fall. And I sat there and I whimpered like a little girl. I'm not going to lie. I whimpered. I went, hi! I whimpered. I was super scared. My mind saw a cliff and then I fell. Because when you're going through these things, like I said before, like your mind is going to be the thing playing tricks on you. You could trust your body. But right now, I couldn't trust my body. So my mind freaked out. And so I'm basically with my leg and I'm on one cheek and I'm like, okay, I got to get up. And so when I go to stand up, my right leg gives out, guys. I cramped the same way. My quad cramps, my calf cramp, and there I am, basically legless on the trail with a 50-pound pack that's teeter-tottering, might fall off the cliff with me on it. Now, thank God I didn't fall off, but I didn't know what to do at this point, because every step I took, if I was going to take one, could be my last step, because my leg just gives out and I fall off the trail. So what I did is I decided to rest. I decided to give my body some time and to prepare to walk again. And so when I thought I had enough time, I stood up. My legs didn't seize, but maybe every 3 or 4 steps, my leg would give out. My legs would just cramp. And there was about 15 to 20 minutes left of this hike, and I knew I had to just do it. And as soon as I told myself I got to do it, my legs stopped cramping, made it to the top of the hike, and my friends were super happy once they saw me. Now, if they knew that I almost cramped myself, well, I guess cramped too, cramped and crapped myself off the mountain, you know, I'm sure that they would have hugged me a lot harder, but I didn't tell anybody. I was very nervous, very scared. But it was honestly one of the biggest accomplishments I've had in my life, getting to the top of that trail. It was such a journey to like get to the end. And it was such an ordeal, but it was such an eye-opening experience that I've had. Because hiking out of the Grand Canyon is kind of a feat. Like, it's like, wow, that's amazing. You did that. After your body's kind of dilapidated for like 2 days. Like, your legs hurt really badly. And as a person who hikes often, this trail was probably a trail that had the most emotions, like the most fluctuating emotions for me. You know, I was in flow state, going through my brain, having a great day. It was so really beneficial. And that's why I want people to go hiking, because there's these benefits that people don't really know about. They think it's just a hike in the woods. It's not just a hike in the woods. It's a hike in your mind. It's a hike in yourself. It's a hike to realize who you are as a person. It's trying to figure out who you are. It's putting miles in. You're putting miles in. And it's really accomplishing when you're done with this hike. The feeling I had when I took off that pack was blissful, so amazing, beautiful. The best feeling, one of the best feelings I've ever had. And the sense of accomplishment, just looking at, when we were done, we were able to look over at the Grandview point, look down. We were like, that's Horseshoe Mesa. We were there. We were down there. It was a sense of accomplishment. And if you've ever read books like by J.R.R. Tolkien, if you've ever read like Lord of the Rings or The Hobbit, how they have these awesome adventures, you can go and do that too. If you've ever wanted to be like on a quest, on a journey, you can go do that. It's called a trail. It's an adventure. You're going to a place that you've never seen before. It's literally like exploring. It's one of the most fun things to do. So if you've ever wanted to have an experience like that too, go and hike this trail. Go and hike any trail. Go and have a multi-day quest. Call it a quest. Don't call it a hike. Call it a quest. If that gets you on the trail, call it a quest. I'm gonna start calling them quests. That's so fun. Like, literally, this hiking outdoors are so beneficial for your mind, so healthy for your body, and so fun. I want people to know this. That's why I want my listeners of this podcast to really, really get motivated to go hike wherever you're at. Go find a trail. Get in that flow state. Find yourself. Put the miles in. Go and be on a quest. And you know, it doesn't have to be the Grandview Trail or the Horseshoe Mesa Trail or any trail in the Grand Canyon for that matter. It can be a trail right in your backyard. These gems are all over the country, guys. There are gems, hiking oases, like literally beautiful scenery all over America. You just have to go find them. So go out and explore these places. Experience it for yourself. Have a great day.